RMJ movie reviews back again, and it is time to wish all of you a very happy Friday the 13th. And what better of a movie to review on Friday the 13th but my personal favorite, not number one, but one of my favorites out of the Friday the 13th movies from the 1980s. Friday the 13th, the final chapter. Also known as Friday the 13th Part 4, the final chapter, I think. And that's pretty hilarious because we all know that this was not the final chapter. The next movie that came after this, the next year in 1985, was Friday the 13th Part 5, A New Beginning. Well, Friday the 13th, the final chapter. This was, I believe, the first Friday film I ever saw. And I saw this, and matter of fact, at the video store, I've told the story before, so I'm going to tell it again. But this picture here, and this is actually the special edition version that Paramount released with the Adam Green commentary and Joseph Zito. What happened was I had an older edition that had this picture on the inside of the box, and I was just like, I hate the new cover art that they do for the Paramount 80s Friday movies. So before I sold it to the game exchange place, I just took this little inside picture out and decided to just tape it on the cover of the new special editions, because I'm just like, this is the original picture that I remember seeing all the time at the video store. And I always just thought that this was a very cool picture of Jason. I remember when I was a little kid seeing a whole row of these in the video store, and my older brother rented this, and that was the first Friday film I had ever saw, which was, God, I don't remember what year that was. It must have been, it might have been 85, I think. Well, I was a real little kid, and pretty much from there, like I said, I had seen them all in order after that. So I had seen 5, which my brother had rented next year. Then I had seen 6 at my cousin Jamal's birthday party. Then I rented 7. And then after I had seen 7, I doubled back and I had saw, I believe I had seen, I had seen 6, and then I had doubled back and I had saw 3, and then I had saw 2, and 1, and then I saw 7, and then I saw the last one, Jason Takes Manhattan. But we all know that Friday the 13th, the final chapter, is kind of lauded within the Friday fan community as one of the best sequels, because Tom Savini, who did the makeup special effects for Friday 1 from 1980, came back to do the special effects on this sequel. And it had been a really long... Well, let me just digress a second. My favorite out the Paramount movies, which to me those are really the only true Friday the 13th movies. Even Jason Takes Manhattan, which is a very weak movie, but I still count it, because I saw it back in the day when it was released, and I remember the little teaser trailer of the back of Jason, and he turns around and all the New Yorkers screaming, I remember that. And I remember all the little cutouts in the paper, him standing over the city with the knife and all that stuff. So that movie counts to me. But geez, I kind of lost track there for a second. I'm a little bit tired. Either way, this is my personal favorites out the Friday movies from the 80s would probably be most of the even number ones. So I'd probably have to say 2, 4, 6, and 8 doesn't even count. I'd probably say 2, 4, and 6 are my favorite. I like all the Paramount Fridays, but I'd say probably the original one. The original one, 7, 8, New Beginning, and then 1 would probably be kind of my least favorites out of them. But I even still like New Beginning, even though Jason's not in that, except he's a figment of Tommy's imagination. But I still like New Beginning. But onto this film, it had been a very long time since I had actually sat and watched Final Chapter. Just sat down and just watched it, from beginning to end. And one of the things that I noticed in kind of seeing all of them in recent years is how, with all sequels that kind of just keep going and going and going, 1 and 2 and 4 have this really very gritty, dark feel to them, which I really like. And 3, I've heard some YouTube movie reviewers complain about. I like 3. I really, really like 3. 3 has never bothered me at all. I've always been a fan of 3. Although I think they kind of paid way more attention to kind of the technical 3D thing and the camera angles and all that because, I mean, my God, I mean, we know there was never stellar acting in these movies, but some of the acting in 3 is just like, and of course, you know, it's legendary. Her monologue about I ran and I woke up and I just don't know what happened. You know, that's just like legendary among Friday fans, and that is a pretty bad delivered monologue, but it's great in its badness. But 3 is a little bit goofy because they paid attention more to the technical aspect. But I still very much like 3. I think it's a fun little slasher movie. You know, goofy, laughable special effects, but it's fun. You know, not all special effects are laughable, but some of the in-camera stuff. You know, the eyeball and the snake and all that was silly. But I really like that after 3. When they came to this film, they kind of more... And watching it now all the way through, this is a much... Matter of fact, I will honestly say, out those first 4 movies, this is the tightest movie out of all of them. Meaning in terms of the acting, the atmosphere, the special effects, even the characters, too. We all know that these movies never had the greatest characters. But I will say, and this is my personal opinion... Out of all the Fridays from the 80s, I will definitely say that I think 4 and 6 have like, even though 6 is kind of more like wink, wink, wink kind of, but I still really actually like the characters in 6. And I like the characters in this one, in number 4. And that was the thing that really caught me off guard is that I found myself... Upon rewatching it, just sitting from beginning to end, I found myself really getting involved with the stories going on between the kids. And I know in the special features, the director says that he really wanted to make the kids more real. And I totally agree with that. I totally agree that the teenagers in this one, who are probably really like 25-year-olds or 27-year-olds, they feel very real. You know what I mean? Kind of like the interesting, and I will say the funnest characters in Friday history is Jimbo and Teddy Bear. I mean, they are I'm surprised these 2 cats never got a movie, man. If Lawrence Monsoon and Crispin Glover would have got their own movie, that would have been the most awesome thing in the world because their chemistry is like dynamite. They're very much like real teenage male friends who kind of just jab at each other. You know, Teddy is like the quintessential, excuse my language, shit talker. Because he talks all this trash about how like Jimbo can't get it up, he not getting it in with his girl, that's why she left him. And then when the freaks, the 2 twin freaks come over, I mean, Teddy Bear ain't getting nothing. And he supposedly got all this game. Jimbo, who ain't got no game, ain't got no sex game, he's the one who ends up getting laid. It's oh man, they have a great dynamic. I don't know what happened. Somebody could leave in the comments section if they did another movie together after this. I don't know. As an 80s aficionado, I should know, but I don't know if they did or if they didn't. So somebody can... They should have got their own movie, man. It should have just been Teddy and Jimbo. It would have been hilarious. But also, the funny thing to me also is just how bold these teenagers are. I mean, I understand that they're trying to emphasize that they're horny and they want to get it in and all that kind of stuff, but it just cracks me up. Like, and these 2 girls are like some of the hottest girls in this movie, are like the hottest girls in like the Friday movies from the 80s. There's some other cute ones. Probably the least hottest ones would definitely probably be in number probably 7 and 8. I probably say 7 and 8 is just like, oh my god, like what were they thinking, you know? But 5 there's some okay ones, but 7 and 8 is just like, oh my god, there's nothing to choose from except for the main girl. She's okay, and the blonde and Kelly Hu are pretty good. But I just love with I just love this chick. She's so cute, the hot chick from American Ninja, and she's like. Her and the girl are talking in the bathroom, and she's just like, well, I got my reputation in the 6th grade. I'm like, what? she's basically telling her she was getting it in when she was 12. And her girl is just like, well, I mean, you do it with everybody. I'm like, she just called her a hoe right to her face. And like listening to the dialogue now as an adult, I'm like, wow, this it's like off the hook. And another scene I love is where the guy Paul, he hits on one of the freak promiscuous twins right in front of his girl at the party. I mean, literally, like, his girl is here, he's here, and the freak nympho twin is right here. And she goes, well, what do you like? Do you like to dance? And he's like, oh, well, I can learn. And his girl is right here. I'm like, wow, this guy's got some balls. He gonna hit on another chick. I mean, it'd have been one thing if he'd have been like, hey, babe, is it cool? Can she join the fun? But I mean, he doesn't even say that. My man is just like not even trying to get his girl in on the action. He's just like, hey, hey, I'm going after you, which is, oh man, it's just so hilarious. But I will say the interactions between the teenagers in this, and of course, Lawrence Monsoon and Crispin Glover just really heighten it, you know, especially like with Teddy going, I had that girl, she was mine. That's real anger that dudes feel when they chicks get taken when they're teenagers, you know, that'll piss you off. You'll be ready to fight somebody over that, you know. But I really found myself getting wrapped up. And so really, essentially, what you have here is a teenage Breakfast Club kind of abbreviation and a Friday the 13th movie. That's kind of what it is, you know? And then you lay on the Tom Savini effects. Now, characters aside, the kills in this thing. Kills are all top notch. You know, of course, the best one. Well, there's a lot of good ones, but of course, I like the one where the guy from Police Academy gets a saw bone or whatever it is to his neck, and Jason like reverses his head backwards. That's a really good one. Of course, another good one is, you know, the very cruel murder of the deaf chick, and she's slobbering the banana out of her mouth. Oh, it's so twisted, but that was a good one. Of course, the corkscrew. Hey, Ted, where's the corkscrew? And the meat cleaver to the face. Just, ugh. And what's another good one? The one in the shower was good. The crushing the head up against the wall. Very cruel. On the DVD, it shows how they did that, which is like a rubber head, and there's like some dude like off camera, like, oh, does it look good? Does it look good? Really cool stuff. The machete going through Jason's head. Tommy shaving his head. Crispin Glover pinned onto the door. It is excessively cruel and mean-spirited, but damn, do those special effects look really good for 1984. And I even still think they hold up now. Particularly the meat cleaver to the face, I think is a really good gag, and the one through the throat and the twisting of the head backwards. I like the axe through the chest, too. That was a pretty good one. But I also like the fact that Jason is not really... They showed him a lot more in 3. And I didn't really particularly like the way he was shown in 3. I didn't really like Richard Brooker's kind of... I didn't like his physicality. In this one, Ted White is... I just love the fact that he just pursues the heck out of Trish when he's chasing her. I mean, this man is going after her. I mean, like, for real. You know, but it was funny. I saw an interview on TV where he said he loved chasing the girls around. He said that he was like, oh, I love chasing the girls. He was like, it just reinvigorated me, the running and the screaming and the hollering. And it's like, wow, buddy, he tapped into his dark side. But I could see how, like, putting on a mask like that and, you know, chasing girls around would probably be fun, you know. I was gonna make a comment further about that, but I'm not. But yeah. But I really like how the teenagers are played straight, and the situation is played straight. As in 3 is fun, but it's not. It's played more goofy and silly. As in here, this is played totally serious, totally straight, totally dark. You know what I mean? In particularly the finale, like when he's killing the dude Rob in the basement. He's killing me. I mean, it's all dark. It's all wet. The movie looks really dingy and rainy, and I really love Harry Manfredini's score for this one, particularly when they're going over there, walking through the house. I mean, just really atmospheric and dark, and it really is suspenseful. You know, I really think those scenes are very intense with Jason chasing her. I had never, you know, I've seen these movies all so many times that they're not as effective because I've seen them so many times. You know, I mean, I wish I could kind of transport back to when I very first saw them when I was a kid, but you know, the DeLorean doesn't exist. But I mean, watching it all the way through, it's very tightly paced, and those suspense scenes are just very intense. I mean, the way they're played in 3, I mean, of course she's running and screaming, but the intensity that Kimberly Beck has here, especially even when Tommy hacks the machete through Jason's head. I mean, that shriek of terror in her eyes, and she's just, I mean, oh God, it's a very intense finale, man. The actors give it their all, and you know, Corey Feldman. I remember, of course, this movie was always a treat for me when I was a kid because it was like, oh, that's the guy from the Goonies. I know it because Corey Feldman was a big thing for all those movie kids, and of course, the next year, you know, I got Dudley from Different Strokes. So you know, and that I even love that even more because you know, me and Dudley are the same color, but that was really cool. I really enjoyed Friday the 13th, the final chapter. For those of you who really like to look at old-fashioned reviews, look up Siskel and Ebert's review. I just love to hear them just bash this thing. They were such... Let me respectfully say this in terms of movie viewers. Not them as people, but as movie viewers. They were total pussies, man. They were like, he's like, it's predominantly a movie of girls being stabbed. Like, oh, shut up. It's just a damn scary movie. Why don't you quit acting like a pussy and relax, man? Damn. Oh, God. But it is excessively cruel and mean. But, I mean, you know, Dracula is mean. I mean, Frankenstein killed a little girl. I mean, come on. Your villains have to be mean. That's just what it is. But, all that to say, I really enjoyed Friday the 13th, the final chapter. Just sitting and watching, it's funny as hell, man. I mean, like I said, the scenes between Jimbo and the kids, especially at the lake with the... Oh, that's one of my favorite scenes is the skinny dipping when Ted is just like, all right! And it's just like, why is this guy getting so pumped that, like, I mean... But, I mean... I probably imagine that in reality, if I was 18 or 19 years old and 2 twins showed up and they got butt ass and all the girls started taking off their clothes, I'd probably be like, all right! Just like he did in the movie. So, and I just love Crispin Glover kind of being real clumsy, like trying to unbutton his clothes and he can't get his pants from around his ankles. It's just great stuff. This is a really good piece of 80s movie making. A fun little horror movie. Very, very tight. I will say it is one of my favorite out of 1 through 8. So, you know, hey, got great funny characters, believable situations between the teenagers, great kills, great music, and a very dreadful and sinister mood. You know, so, and of course, what could I leave out? That opening montage. I love the opening montage of this movie where they show the previous 3. Oh, and I just, oh man, it shows the handstand kill from 3 and oh man, perfect. That's one of the best montages because the montage from 7 is not very good. They tried to mock that one, but the montage in the beginning of this one is utterly fantastic. That's how you do a montage. All right, everybody, that is my review of Friday the 13th, the final chapter. From 1984 for Friday the 13th. Thumbs up the video, subscribe to the channel, share the video, and leave comments down below about my thoughts on Friday the 13th, the final chapter, any of the Friday the 13th movies from the 80s only, from 1 through Jason Takes Manhattan. And, you know, whatever, man. Or if any of you guys might have met any other actors at a convention and have a funny story or whatever, just leave it down below. RMJ Movie Reviews. I will be back again soon.